Before I first came to the UK, my view about British society was entirely different. Growing up in Chennai, India, through the textbooks about English literature and English history at school and university, I developed a view in my head, and I thought British society was morally upright and Christian. Well, in 2008, I come to the University of Manchester and find that it is not the case anymore. In fact, the polls that came out in the 2010s showed me that Christianity in this country is now a minority religion. It was a shock, it was a surprise in a very sad way to find that these majestic looking old church buildings were all being sold to become temples and mosques and gurudwaras, to be pubs and student accommodation throughout Manchester. And I found that it was the same happening throughout the country. What could be the main reason for this very steep decline? I think the reason is at the Christian home. The Christian upbringing at the home was being offloaded, outsourced en masse, wholesale, to Sunday school and Christian churches. And throughout the decades, through these generations, the Sunday numbers at church have gone down. A similar pattern could be seen in the church. What was primarily the church's responsibility, namely evangelism and missional work, was being outsourced to parachurch organizations, to missionary organizations. Like my father would say, unless you go out preaching the word, God is not going to send people in. And if you're not evangelizing your community, your local churches will not be filled up. Well, this year it's the 25th anniversary of Maritime Christian Ministries in Liverpool. As an act of celebration and thanksgiving, we want to encourage local churches to move towards a cultural shift in the way they view missional work in their own communities. Consider what the Apostle Paul writes to the church in Rome. He surely yearns and longs for his community, his own people, to come to Christ. But there he insists that praying alone does not help. There needs to be action. How then will they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how are they to believe in him of whom they have never heard? And how are they to hear without someone preaching? And how are they to preach unless they are sent? At MCM, we want the local church to feel its first love, a lighter yoke, this joyful burden of preaching Christ to their local community. So, on the 9th of September, it's a Saturday at Hope Community Church, Aintree, we have a one-day conference from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And on that day, we have invited people from OM, Operation Mobilisation, and Open Doors UK to come and encourage us with a view about world missions in general, and probably about the persecuted church all around the world. And that will help us think about the privileges, the blessings that we have in this country to worship freely. Bring your own lunch. Refreshments will be provided. If you have kids coming along with you, there will be people to take care of your children, mind them during the time. Well, come join us on the 9th of September to be encouraged through Scripture and through what's happening all around the world, and be encouraged to participate in local missions. Would you encourage your brothers and sisters at church to come and join us on that day? See you on the 9th of September.